Hey, how's it going, guys? Ancient Rune here, back with another Borderlands 3 build video, and today I'll be going over my non-DLC Zane build called 3 Tree Cold War. As the name says, this build focuses on maximizing the damage of Cold War bonus element while going no DLC or Season Pass 1 only, to deal strong single shots to act as a kind of practical one-shot build. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The save file will be found in my Discord, which is linked down below, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, and for the gear here, you're basically just using any strong weapon that can be used in a single shot. I usually like to have a good AoE weapon as well, because this does focus on crit, and if you can't crit well, then it does last. So I like to have the Flacker on me with ASC Splash, since I will be cycling somewhat with Action Skill End, and so the Flacker is very good for that. And it's just really good AoE and a really strong weapon. I like to go Radiation for Rad Explosions, or non-elemental if I need to, just because then it isn't getting penalized from the radiation, as well as I'm going something like armor. It'll be better there. I also just really like this during high-end combat, like the Guardian Takedown or with bossing. I really like this with bossing instead of something like the Backburner. It's just a lot more fun. Just a really good gun with this, and I do really prefer it with the anti-freeze since it's not critting. You can also pair it with the Snowdrift and just slide around, and it is really good. And then you just want to have your strong single shot weapons. Like, I like the Wedding Invitation. You also have the semi-auto Sandhawk is really strong. The Masterwork Crossbow, the Monocle, the ASMD is really good, but it has a problem where if you have increased projectile, then it won't work. So you would want to make sure you have nothing in playing dirty if you really want to use this gun, which does hurt other guns, but then you can kind of just focus on using more multi-pellet weapons like the Flacker, the Sandhawk. If you have DLC, you could go like the Skull Masher. Stuff like that will be a lot better. Same with the Stagecoach. That will make the ASMD more worth it. Same way with the anti-freeze, going stuff like that. And then I also have like the Tigspoon, Moonfire, the Duck, Recursion's really good. We got a bunch of backburners here. I got backburner for a main bossing weapon. You got the Maggie, the King's Call, the Queen's Call, the Unforgiven, Sledge's Super Shotgun. The one pump jump is really fun. Not the strongest, but it can be made to work if you stack overkill pretty well. The Hellwalker is of course really fun, but you've got stronger weapons like the Stagecoach, which is just kind of a better option. You have the Bang Stick here, which isn't too bad, as well as the Dead Chamber's a really fun option here. And then I already went over the Backburner. Just go to for big bosses, Element Match with ASC Splash. Otherwise, you can go Barrier Crit, which is really nice. We are using Terror, so you can go Terror Cryo as well, which is a very solid option. It is a second Terror Cryo bonus element added on with Cold War, so it's like not the best here, but it isn't bad. And the only problem that you do get with ASC Splash and splash damage is that bonus elements like Cold War don't benefit from it, but it still is very strong. And they're going to use an amp shield like the one-shotter shield. You could also use something like the red suit. I may use a radiation flacker, but the flacker is weird and doesn't apply a dot to you. You do have to have the splash immunity from duct tape mod, but the dots don't apply, so you don't need the red suit. But the red suit is a really good way to form a solid amp shield with 2 amp parts, but the one-shotter is 3 amp parts and really good. This is level 65 for no reason, then I forgot to make it level 72. Level doesn't matter here. You can also use other amp shields like the Rerouter or the version 0.M, but they're not very good because they only work with single pellets, and we do have playing dirty going on, which means that that second pellet isn't getting amp. So it's not the best option, but it is an option, and you just wouldn't use it with any multi-pellet weapons. Then we got to mention the crit here. Just with consecutive hits, URED will work well. This is your fight for your life gun. If you go down and you don't have like a good setup for your gun with damage, then the crit will help you get out. With the grenade, we use the Burning Summit here. This is to blow up clone. We use this to cycle this terror action skill and for the Terra V1, because Terra V1 will be huge here since we aren't doing some fast shooting stuff. This will be a huge bonus. You do have to be careful though with having duct tape mod and this, as you can throw the Burning Summit and mess up your amp shield, though it doesn't happen too much, so you don't have to worry about it as much, but it can happen. You just want to make sure you have terror damage and fire rate, as well as this being max level Mayhem 10. And then for the class mod, you want to use an executor mainly if you can hit crits. If you can't, you want to use an anti-freeze or a good violent momentum comm, as well as the radical comm, which is Cold War comm, which is really fun. Not optimal, as it's not really giving much formula and just increased like base damage for Cold War, as well as losing passive, but it's still really good, really fun and unique way to go for your class mod. You want to go splash damage, radius, and weapon type mainly. Splash damage radius will help with hollow point, which will be a big part of mobbing, as we're already hitting crits, so that'll be very important. We also have the executor boosting cryo damage, which will boost Cold War, which is really nice. And then you can go stuff like splash damage, weapon crit, weapon type crit, charge speed for your like Malawan weapons, just whatever will help you a bunch. And then for the top rolls, it doesn't really matter. I just have it here with Good Misfortune and Playing Dirty, since I don't need any violence points on this build. And then for the class mod, I usually stick with the Icebreaker Victory Rush, but you can go a Snowdrift, especially with bossing, or if you have a gun you want to slide around with when you aren't really critting. So Icebreaker is the main use here. It gives V2 damage when freezing enemies. Cold War is such a strong bonus element that you can freeze enemies pretty well, and Icebreaker helps that as well with the cryo efficiency. Same with the Executor. You want to go with the weapon type damage like sniper rifle, shotgun, pistol, all that, and then area effect damage in the second or third slot. I would say that AoE damage is less needed if you're not using a splash weapon, but there are plenty of splash guns on this build here, so it still is very helpful, but it is just because of hollow point really being really nice. And then getting magazine size is just really good for less reloading. You can also get elemental damage here, which will be huge. I just really like magazine size to reload less. And the Snowdrift doesn't really change in passes, but you can get movement speed to help with violent momentum. Alright, and then for the skill tree here, pretty standard blue tree. We got violent momentum going for the hundreds of gun damage you can get, with violent speed also helping that. And we got Cold War for the 200% bonus element. A 5-point radical comm will make this 200%, which is crazy. Cool Hand for the reload speed. You've got Salvation for the lifesteal. Seeing Red for activating kill skills. Since we have Digiclone cycling somewhat well, this is really good and decent. Playing Dirty for the extra projectile. Good Misfortune to keep our action skill up, aka our barrier. Death Follows Close for boosting kill skill bonus and the kill skill duration increase, and this bonus will boost violent momentum as well for some reason. And then for Red Tree, we're basically just getting stuff for Clone to help blow it up. Brave Mutinous for mag size. Borrowed Time for action skill duration for barrier. Donnybrook is good health regen and gun damage. Fractal Frag so Clone can throw the Burning Summit, which will then blow itself up. If you want to know more on that, my 3-tree ASC build, which will be linked down below in the playlist, will also use it and explain it more. Duct tape mod for splash immunity. No quick breather here, old use, so if we go down and Clone is still up, we can get right back up easily. And then I don't go any points in Supersonic Man, just because I don't really move much, and I'd only have one stack of it at the most part with barriers, so I don't find it that worth it. And then for Green Tree, we go down the Capstone, which is a bit weird since we're using an Amp Shield, but I'll go over that. Ready for Action helps with recharge for Amp Shield. Adrenaline helps with some consistent cooldown rate. Brain Freeze for freezing better. Rise to the Occasion here for health regen for survivability. I don't go Distributed Denial because it doesn't help too much. Really expensive jacket to help with survivability, as it cuts dot duration in half. Refreshment for some lifesteal that isn't kill skill based. Nerves of Steel is here just for stacking some accuracy and handling. Just once your amp shield is consumed, the shield is no longer full, and so it no longer gets the bonus, but it'll help for that shot. Cool collected here is so if when clone is up, it can freeze an enemy from shooting with hitting crits and brain freeze. Not really happening much, but it is a 1-pointer skill, so it still is nice. And then confidence is not really having it ever at full, but since gun damage is an on-shot bonus, when our amp shield is full, it will have this full bonus here, which is pretty nice. Same with the accuracy. Not the most damage, but I do also like to sometimes stand pretty still to where vision damage can be pretty nice. And then I don't go Mayhem 10 on here. I don't even know if I could modifiers. I don't. I have pretty bad modifiers here. I use this on my full DLC because I can, because I have the damage for it. But out the full DLC, I would not go these modifiers. You could go the speed demon stuff, but I really don't, and I don't really need it, so I just go Mayhem 11 here. I hope you guys enjoyed the build video. Cold War is an insanely strong bonus element that you can boost super high with the right damage formula. I also really like the gameplay loop of this build and all the gun options. Again, you can find the save file in my Discord, which is linked down below, as well as my other socials. If you haven't, I would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.